Hello and welcome back, I am Shrike here with another D&D video. Today we're going to talk through my top 5 subclasses from the player's handbook. Before we get on with the rest of the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you want to get more content like this, and then hit the notification bell next to it if you want to be notified next time I upload a video. I will say as well that these are my top 5 subclasses. Yours might be different and that's absolutely okay, other people's might be different as well. I'll try to explain as we go along why it's in my top 5 and hopefully you'll understand. So let's kick it off with number 5, which for me is the Druid Circle of the Moon. The main reason why this is in my top 5 list is purely because in my eyes Druids turn into animals. I know they do spells and they have other cool abilities, but that's the part of the Druid class as a whole that appeals to me the most. So the ability as the Circle of the Moon Druid to be able to turn into better beasts and then eventually turn into elementals is really what sets it apart from the other subclass for the Druids and just as a subclass as a whole in the entire game. This, coupled with the ability to now do it as a bonus action, so you don't have to waste your action to turn into the beast, you can do it as a bonus action and then still act as the beast on your turn. So yeah, that's why Druid Circle of the Moon is number 5. And at number 4, we have Bard College of Law. Bards as a whole are pretty awesome, including the College of Valor is a really good subclass as well, but there are 2 main reasons why I like College of Law more. The first of which is cutting words. The ability to reduce an enemy's attack is really helpful, and in games there's been some really awesome use cases of that, where there's been a pop moment when it's happened and the players around the table have all gone crazy. And then the second thing is the more proficiencies that you get early on, it really means that you can customise your character to be exactly what you want them to be. And in sticking to the customisation, later on the ability to pick 2 spells from any class really means that you can hone in on the customisation for your character. If you wanted it to be more naturey, you could grab some Druid spells. If you wanted to be a bit more mysterious, you could take some Warlock spells, and it really opens up the door for your character to be exactly what you want it to be. And as we go into the top 3, the third one is Rogue Arcane Trickster. I think I enjoy this one a lot because the Rogue main class adds a lot in terms of combat, and then the Arcane Trickster adds a lot out of combat, so all in all your character ends up very well rounded. You'll notice that every single one of these are spellcasters to some extent, so being able to add spells to the Rogue class is a winner for me. And then as we're talking about versatility outside of combat, the ability for the mage hand to be invisible, pick locks and pickpocket just means that there's so many applications that you can have outside of combat. And sticking to the roguish, stealthy sort of feel, the ability to give someone a disadvantage on a saving throw when you target them with a spell when you're hidden is also really cool. And then the high level ability to be able to stop a spell and then steal it for 8 hours is really awesome. It's basically a better version of a counter spell because then you get to steal the spell and then you can cast it yourself. So why wouldn't you want that? And then number 2 on my list is the Divination Wizard. And there's not much from a mechanical standpoint here that makes it stand out for me, because a lot of it comes from the spells, which in theory any wizard could take the divination spells, but I just like the divination spells, the wizard class, and then the 2 main abilities in the divination subclass. The first of which is rolling 2 d20s in advance, and then at any point during the day being able to swap out a roll for one of those d20s. It means that if you roll high on one of those 2 dice rolls early on, then you can swap it out for a bad roll that you do later on. But if you roll low, then you can swap out an enemy's one when they roll high. You can all of a sudden put the fingers up to the DM and say, nope, you roll low. And then the second ability is being able to see into the ethereal plane and seeing invisibility, which is just always handy. There's not really much else to say about that subclass. I just really enjoy divination magic as a whole, so a subclass around it is pretty awesome. And then number 1, my favourite subclass out of the whole of the player's handbook is the Cleric subclass, Tempest. I think it's just really awesome thematically to be able to summon thunder, lightning, all of that, and the mechanics of the subclass itself will really help to make a character that really feels impactful. Another thing I really like about this subclass is a lot of the really cool abilities, the ones that are really impactful, are the ones that you get early on, so you don't actually have to wait long until you feel like this thunderous, lightning-wielding madman. So straight off the bat you get Wrath of the Storm, which is an ability like Hellish Rebuke where you can use your reaction to do either thunder or lightning damage when you're attacked. This is really awesome, especially if you get a moment where it looks like you're about to go down and then you do that and the enemy goes down instead. You get really good reaction around the table and it's just really cool. And then just at second level you get your Channel Divinity, where if you do any sort of lightning damage, instead of rolling a dice you can just take the maximum amount, which as you can imagine is really awesome, especially early on when enemies don't have a load of hit points. It can really deal some proper damage to them. A few people have criticised this because you don't actually get many spells that deal either thunder or lightning damage, but as soon as you get Cool Lightning, the ability to pull down a bolt of lightning from the sky, that is much more powerful than a normal one. It's just really cool in my eyes. And while we're talking about spells, the spells that you're given from this subclass are really thematic for that thunder and lightning feel that it's going for, with Thunder Wave, Cool Lightning, all the ones that you would expect to get. And then you just have to wait till level 6 to get your next awesome ability, which is whenever you deal lightning damage, you have the option to push them 10 feet back. Now, as you can imagine, this can be really powerful, especially if they're at the edge of a ledge and then you Cool Lightning just behind them. You can push them off the ledge and into your party. There are some really awesome applications for this. And then at level 8, whenever you deal a weapon attack, you deal lightning damage, which basically means that every time you hit someone with a weapon, you can push them back 10 feet if you like. So you can be pushing someone all over the battlefield, getting them into bad places they don't want to be, and helping out your party. Oh, and I should mention as well that while you're helping out your party, you're also doing a hell of a lot of damage, which is always nice. And then your late game ability is a bit meh compared to the others, but it's the ability to fly, which you get at 17th level. But by then you should have wizards who can make you fly, and maybe you've got some artifacts that make you fly. So it's not that big of a deal, but still, being able to fly is pretty cool. So there you have it, there's my top 5 D&D subclasses from the Player's Handbook. Please put yours down in the comments, I'm really interested to see what other D&D players and DMs enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, it will just let me know that you enjoy this style of video so I can go and make some more for you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to see more content like this. And until next time, happy gaming!